Hello everyone! Welcome back to the one, the only Taylor Talks. And if you have no idea who I am, you can probably guess, I'm Taylor. And thank you for coming back and checking in. I have a terrific guest today, and what she does is, I'm excited about this because it's so different from what a lot of people do, but I think it is very much needed. So let's welcome my guest, Theresa McRee.
Thank you, Taylor.
Here today.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I think this is a very necessary subject with everything. But let's kind of get into that so they know what the heck I'm talking about.
Right.
So, Theresa, what do you do?
I am a grief coach.
Okay.
So what is a grief coach? Well, I work with women who have suffered profound grief, and I help them find joy.
Mm-hmm.
So I work with women. It can be all. Grief is a very broad topic.
Very broad, yeah.
You immediately think of death, and I do coach a lot of widows, women that have lost their husbands, but grief also is, losing a job, dealing with the pandemic, family, political differing views.
Yeah, so kind of like losing a part of your life that you thought would be there type of thing.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Okay, I was like, I think I understand it.
Yeah. So there is a difference between grief and mourning, and people think that's the same.
I didn't know that. I thought they were the same thing. Okay.
Yeah, so grief is what you feel inside.
Okay.
And mourning is the outward expression.
Oh, okay.
Crying, rituals, funerals.
Yeah.
Celebrating the memory or the loss. So it's important that you do both to heal. That society today tells you to get over it, hurry up, get back to normal, and this will make you a better person, or all kinds of crazy things.
Yeah.
And it really, that's the worst advice ever.
Yeah.
It's, but people want to fit in and not be outwardly sad all the time.
Yeah.
And when people say, "How are you doing?" you don't want to say, "Terrible." That's what society says. But people,
exactly.
You have to do that. And grief shared is grief lessened to you. And if you surround yourself with people that help you and lift you up and let you feel what you feel, that's what you need to do.
Okay, so how did you get into this career? Because obviously it's not the most, I want to say fun, but you know what I mean?
Crazy.
It's very, it obviously is helping a lot of people, but it's definitely something that's kind of hard to deal with,
It's a deep, tough subject.
Definitely, very deep, and I feel like it's difficult because a lot of people, it's not something you want to really talk about.
Right.
So.
I know, it is. It's tough, but it's one thing I know about you is you're going to die.
True. Everyone's going to die.
And no one's prepared for it.
No.
And we don't talk about it, or we mystify it, or we pretend like, it's just something that you need to get through and get over. And in other cultures and customs, that's not how it was. In fact, years ago here in the United States, it even wasn't. You would, the women would dress in black for a year. And, you would bring dishes to each other's homes for that communal grief sharing, and then you'd have to go back 3 days later to get your dish and talk again. And it was different. And nowadays the society has made it seem like hurry up and get over it.
Oh yeah.
And and it runs deep.
It definitely makes it a lot harder because there's so many different, just people I know, depending if they don't own their own business, if something has happened, they don't really choose when they get to go back. It's like, okay, well, we need you back.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, I just lost my sister, brother, whoever. Like, that's...
Right.
That's very difficult
to then they go back to work and people don't know how to treat them, and, you don't know what to say.
Well, and I'm definitely like that. Like, when someone's had something happen, I just...
avoid the subject.
It's so hard because words can't make it better.
No.
It's so hard to formulate anything because you want them to know you care, but it's like, okay, well, I'm sorry for your loss, but it's like I can't. I don't know. You know what I mean?
And in those instances, I recommend saying something that you feel. It doesn't have to be the perfect scripted Hallmark thing.
Yeah.
But if it's coming from your heart,
that means a lot.
It means a lot. And
Yeah.
people aren't going to remember what you say. They're going to remember how you made them feel. And you don't even have to say a lot. Just say, I'm sorry. And embrace that silence.
Yeah.
And let them just feel it, you know, because that's important. But the way I got into this was in 2015. I had a lot of grief. I lost my father, who lived with me and my husband and my 3 kids for 18 years.
Oh,
He
gosh.
lived in our basement. He had COPD, and that's a very long struggle of breathing issues. So you basically just can't breathe anymore.
Yeah.
And then after my dad died, my husband asked for a divorce. I moved out, and we were divorced in 30 days. It was a whirlwind.
It was just a whole thing. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And then I lost my job due to downsizing. I can't remember which job it was. I was in IT for about 15 years. And in 2015, when I suffered these significant losses, I joined a grief group at Assumption Parish in O'Fallon. And I was a participant, and it was an 8-week program, and it was a group, and it helped me so much.
Oh my gosh. That's good to hear.
It helped me so much. And the lady that runs the grief group, Lynn Crew, she invited me to continue and become a facilitator and help her. And I did. So I've been facilitating a grief group with Lynn since 2015 as a group.
Oh, wow.
In 2020, I lost my job at Equifax because of the pandemic. And my father had passed away, and I had some money saved, from inheritance, and I thought, what is my purpose? I'm pretty sure it's not implementing payroll file feeds for Equifax. And what gave me purpose was this grief group, and that's where I touched people's hearts, and I could see how they were able to, you never get over grief, but you get through it, and a lot of emotions that you feel. So I was so honored that I could take this journey with these people. So to me, it's so beneficial to help others get through their journey. So that's how I got into it. And then I went back to school to become a certified life coach.
Wow.
And now I'm back to school to get my master's, so that I can ask better questions and help people better.
So you kind of answered it, but I was going to ask, what inspires you to help others? And you kind of said it, it's neat to see them when they get to that other side and kind of get not past, but better.
Right.
I guess better habits.
Right. And so a lot of times what inspires me is I saw a need for individual coaching. So, the grief group is wonderful and helpful, but a lot of times there can be someone in the group that, does a lot more talking, and other people that are
introverted people.
Yeah.
When something has already happened,
Yeah.
they're less likely to
speak up.
Yeah, especially in a group,
Right.
and it's a hard subject, so it's just like boom, boom.
It's wonderful to sit and listen and hear how so many times people share the same experiences, and you feel, am I crazy? Is this normal? And it's so nice to hear that you're not crazy and normal, that grief it does make you forgetful. It does make you lose your appetite, or it makes you eat all the time. It makes you not
appetite, sleep,
makes you not be able to sleep, or you want to sleep all the time.
Yeah.
It's each person's grief is unique, because your relationship with a person that you lost, or your relationship with your job, or how much your job meant to you, or your divorce, and how you like you said, the loss of your future. It's something that is unique to each person. And my job as a grief coach, and the difference between a coach and a therapist is, a therapist has a very prescriptive way of, the stages of grief. First you'll have denial, and then you'll have anger, and then you'll have acceptance, and that's not how it is in real life. And what my goal is to be a companion on someone's grief journey, to let them know that it comes in waves, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And that I've seen so many people through grief, I can let them know if you're okay or not, or if you need professional help from a therapist or medication, I will recommend that. That's not my thing. But so many people feel isolated and alone because when they do go back to work and people don't say anything, or they say how you're doing, you just lie and say I'm fine.
Yeah.
And then you just become more isolated. So
Exactly.
it inspires me to help people know that grief is a normal process and it's okay to be sad. And that just means you loved whatever you lost.
Definitely. Well, and it definitely helps us people, you know, having a shoulder to lean on while
And
trying to navigate everything.
A shoulder to lean on and someone who supports you that's unbiased. Someone who's always on your side, for sure. As a coach, I am your support.
Yeah.
When you're going through grief or a loss or you know, a medical diagnosis, that's a big one. A lot of elderly people who are transitioning from losing their independence and having to go to a home. It's not anything that they want, and they're losing their independence and all these things. So I help with that as well.
Well, and those big life changes, like we were saying, you know, no matter what it is, if you loved it, losing it's hard. And what's hard is, you know, finding people to talk to and then finding how to still do life.
Finding your purpose. That's what I do.
So that's awesome.
I provide comfort as you go through the journey.
Wow.
And I provide, you know, support, but also it's okay to have joy again. Sometimes you feel guilty of, you know, oh my gosh, I just laughed at this joke and I can't believe, you know, my child is dead or whatever. And then you feel guilty. And then it's like, so, you know, what I provide is companionship and to let you know that grief is normal and to not let your grief be greater than the love that you had. And it's just okay to be sad and feel it, but don't let it overwhelm your life so you can't function.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for being on today.
I appreciate
and kind of talking about this stuff. I know this stuff's heavy, but I do want people to know that, you know, there's someone like you who exists.
Thank you.
Who can help with that, because when, you know, when people are going through these losses, losses of life, but not just like losing someone, but losses of life, jobs, you know, whatever is happening. It can be hard, so it's good to know that that's something you do. Because I had not known until we actually met that there were people who specialize in that. So thank you so much for being on today.
You're welcome. I really appreciate it so much. Thank you, Taylor.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure.
And thank you guys for watching. I will have Theresa's information in the description as always. If this is something that you think you know someone who needs it or you need it, everything is confidential. You know, she doesn't talk about who she's working with. You know,
absolutely not.
So if it's something, if you go and talk to her, I won't know. No one will know. It's between you and her. But
right. I do offer 1 hour complimentary session too. If they go to my website, you can talk to me for an hour and we'll decide, is this right for you?
If this will work and help.
And if not, I recommend what I see would benefit, but it doesn't hurt to call and ask.
Exactly, and see, and I'll put all that stuff in there so they can get a hold of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you guys.
Bye-bye.
See you next time.